Have you ever paused, truly paused, in silence, and asked yourself, what am I broadcasting out into the world? Not with words, not with actions, but with the energy that seeps through every glance, every thought, every unspoken heartbeat. You are a transmitter, always broadcasting, always sending out a signal. And the universe is always listening, but it does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. Look around your life. The people you attract, the opportunities you encounter, the cycles you can't seem to break free from, they are not coincidences. They are mirrors, honest reflections of the frequency you carry in every moment. As Nikola Tesla once said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything in your life is energy, and energy doesn't lie. You might smile at someone, but if inside you're filled with anxiety, scarcity, or self-doubt, that is your true transmission. That is the carrier wave. That is the frequency. That is the message being sent out into the field. And the universe simply responds to it, without bias, without pity, without distortion. It is a quantum mirror, reflecting not your image, but your vibration. When you live in fear, you attract more reasons to be afraid. When you live in gratitude, you attract more to be grateful for. When you walk as if you already are what you wish to become, you begin to live in the parallel universe where that is already true. This is the principle Neville Goddard called the law of assumption. You don't wait for the world to change so you can feel whole. You feel whole so the world changes in response to you. And once you understand this, you no longer beg reality for miracles because you realize you are the miracle, broadcasting endlessly into the field of existence. Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it the quantum field, a space where all possibilities exist at once, but you only access the ones that vibrate in resonance with you. Like tuning a radio, you can't pick up FM if you're transmitting on AM, and you can't live as your highest self if you keep broadcasting the signal of a victim. The problem is, most people are broadcasting unconsciously. They don't realize that every time they say, I can't, they're transmitting limitation. Every time they envy, they're transmitting lack. Every time they doubt themselves, they're drifting further from the frequency of the reality they desire. You cannot attract love while transmitting the fear of abandonment. You cannot attract freedom while vibrating with the fear of control. This isn't philosophy. This is physics, spiritual physics. As Bruce Lipton proved, your beliefs alter your genetic expression. So if your core belief is, I am unworthy, your body, your energy, and your life will shape themselves to match that frequency. You are programming yourself, not through words, but through your dominant energetic state. And the truth is, the universe doesn't hear what you say, it hears what you send. This is the moment you must become radically honest with yourself, not to assign blame, but to reclaim your power as a creator. Because if you were powerful enough to unconsciously create your current reality, you are powerful enough to consciously shift your frequency and create a new one. The question is not, do I deserve what I desire? The real question is, am I broadcasting the frequency where that reality can find me? Because everything you seek is also seeking you, but it can only recognize you when you vibrate in harmony with it. The frequency of freedom does not live in fear. The frequency of abundance does not live in lack. The frequency of love does not live in doubt. And you cannot fool the universe. You can post inspiring words. You can speak beautifully. But if the energy within you is fear, envy, or scarcity, that is the only signal the universe receives. No more, no less. So don't blame the universe. Look within, not with judgment, but with awareness. Because only when you become aware of what you're transmitting, do you regain the power to choose something different. As Abraham Hicks said, you are a vibrational being. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. So, who are you being today? Are you the worry or the belief, the lack or the embodiment of wholeness, the one waiting to be rescued or the one creating your world from the inside out? There is no right answer, only one truth. You are broadcasting, and the universe is listening. So, the moment you shift the signal within, the outer reality must change. Not because you begged, not because you tried hard enough, but because it's law. The law of vibration, the law of resonance, the law of correspondence, from ancient Egypt to the writings of Hermes Trismegistus, to the teachings of modern masters like Greg Braden, David Hawkins, and Dolores Cannon. They all point to a single truth: as above, so below. As within, so without. You are not a victim of the universe. You are an inseparable part of it, in constant interaction through the living vibration of your being. So the question is no longer, how do I make what I want come to me? The real question becomes, how can I become the version of myself that naturally attracts it? This is how awakened souls walk, not trying to control the world, but calibrating their inner field, so that the world recalibrates itself around them. When you live in presence, not clinging to the past, not chasing the future, you begin to access the field of pure potential, where miracles don't happen because you force them, but because you become the vibrational match for them to naturally bloom. This is the wisdom of Eckhart Tolle: presence, not for a goal, not for achievement, but because in the depth of now, you tap into the highest energy you are capable of reaching. And that is where the miracles are born. When you sit still in silence, doing nothing, trying nothing, just observing, you begin to feel a flow, a life force that does not come from the brain, a pulse that does not come from thought. It is your original frequency, the one the world buried under noise and dust. It speaks through intuition. It guides through subtle knowing. It does not shout. It does not push. But it is more accurate than any book, more true than any doctrine. And when you begin to act from this place, from deep presence, from quiet awareness, each step you take carries the vibration of awakening, and everything you touch begins to awaken too. This is when you stop reacting and start becoming a conscious broadcaster. You no longer live from what will happen next. You live from what do I choose to transmit right now? Every thought is an unspoken prayer. Every emotion is a vibrational command sent into the field. Every action is a signal to the universe about the version of yourself you've chosen to become. And the strange thing is, the universe never denies you. It simply reflects you exactly as you are. You feel unworthy? It mirrors that back through experiences that confirm it. You walk in confidence, not because of proof, but as a vibrational choice. It responds with opportunities that match that frequency. And slowly, you stop seeking change out there. You become the change. In every moment you choose to tune your frequency. Frequency is not some abstract, esoteric concept. It's a living map. David R. Hawkins charted it. From low vibrations like shame, guilt, and fear, to higher states like unconditional love, peace, and enlightenment. You want to know where you are on that map? Look at how you naturally respond. To what doesn't go your way? Do you contract? Do you judge? Do you run? Or do you breathe? Stay present and alchemize. Your response is your frequency, and the universe always hears that, not your justifications, not your excuses, just your signal. As Sadhguru once said, the world does not decide who you are. It merely mirrors back your level of consciousness in that moment. So when you step out of victimhood, when you stop waiting for something to happen, when you begin to intentionally raise your vibration, moment by moment, the world begins to turn in ways you never imagined. Not because you are more deserving, not because you are special, but because you're broadcasting differently. And the current of the universe can only bring you what vibrates in harmony with you. Not sooner, not later, only exactly. And then there comes a moment when you no longer ask, how do I make things come to me? But instead, how do I become the one they are drawn to? This is the shift from seeker to signal, from one who begs for the light to one who becomes the source of it. No more grasping, no more forcing, only deep alignment between the truth within you and the infinite field that surrounds you. Dolores Cannon once spoke of old souls, beings who came to Earth with a mission, a level of awareness that transcended the ordinary script. And she said, when they remembered who they truly were, suffering dissolved because they no longer resonated with it. And you are no different. When you change what you broadcast, you exit the timelines of your past. The loops, the patterns, the repetition, they lose their grip because you are no longer the signal they're tuned into. You've shifted your frequency. Quantum physics calls this a quantum leap, not a small step, but a sudden jump into a parallel reality by altering the core vibration of your being. Dr. Joe Dispenza proved that when someone enters a deep meditative state, disconnecting from body, from environment, from time, they can reprogram themselves from the quantum field where all possibilities exist at once. You don't change your life by fixing each little piece. You change it by retuning your signal. And when that happens, you no longer have to try to attract. You become attraction itself. People feel you before you speak. Opportunities find you. Without struggle, doors open, because you resonate with their opening. There's no magic, only correct frequency. As Ram Dass once said, we're not here to become something. We're here to remember who we already are. And you don't need to be perfect to transmit a powerful signal. You only need to be honest about what you're truly radiating. Honest about the fear, honest about the anger, honest about the shadows that haven't yet been held. Because real energy doesn't come from what you hide. It comes from what you've healed. When the war within you ends, you emit a complete frequency, and the universe can only resonate with what is whole. This is why some people, living in gratitude, even when they seem to have nothing, still attract the miraculous, because they're transmitting as if they already have everything. And that is what the universe responds to. Without delay. Abraham Hicks calls it allowing the flow. No resistance, no control, just opening, letting life move through you. Like the ocean doesn't try to be powerful, it simply is. And in being so, it can move mountains. You don't need to try to attract anything. You only need to become clear, still, present, so that the vibration you emit is pure, strong, and undeniable. That is what the world feels. That is what parallel realities are waiting for. That is what moves you into the life you always knew was meant for you. Not someday, not when I'm finally enough, but now. Right now, you are broadcasting. Right now, you are sending a command into the universe. Right now, you are being answered. The question is, do you recognize what you're sending out? And are you willing to change the frequency? Because if you are unaware of what you're broadcasting, then everything you receive will always feel like a mystery. You'll call it fate, karma, the trials of life. But the truth is, nothing comes to you that wasn't invited by the very frequency you've been transmitting. This isn't about blame. This is about returning you to your power. Because if you are the one broadcasting, then you are the one who can change the signal, change the script, change the reality. Everything you want already exists in the quantum field, like an invisible treasury, where all versions of you coexist. The version that lives in fear, the version that is awake and free, the version stuck in the same old loops, and the version that has broken every boundary. You don't need to chase that version down. You simply need to match its frequency. And frequency is the key. Dr. Bruce Lipton has shown us every emotion you sustain can activate or deactivate a gene in your body. So if you live in the vibration of belief, of gratitude, of love, you're not only changing your external reality, you are reprogramming the biological structure of your being to align with the life you choose to embody. Think of it simply, if you are an instrument and the universe is the orchestra, You cannot play a different song until you tune the strings within. And that is why the great spiritual masters, for thousands of years, never spoke much about the outer world. They led us inward. Jiddu Krishnamurti once said, "There is no true revolution in the outer world without a revolution within." And that inner revolution begins when you realize, I am the broadcaster. I am the creator. I am the one writing the vibrational blueprint. The outer world is not manipulating you. It is reflecting you, printing the image of your most dominant energy. If you broadcast lack, life will always make you feel like you don't have enough. If you broadcast comparison, everything that comes to you will feel like you're still behind. But if you broadcast love, even the smallest moment will feel like the entire universe is flowing through it. This is the one truth the world has yet to fully understand. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you feel is real. You can meditate for 2 hours a day, praying for something to change. But if for the rest of your day you live in doubt, anxiety, and limitation, the dominant signal you're broadcasting is still the vibration of fear. You cannot shine halfway. You cannot stand with one foot in the light and the other in your shadow. You must choose. Either you become a conscious broadcaster, or you let life transmit unconscious commands on your behalf. And the truth is, you are broadcasting 24/7, even in your dreams, even when you're not paying attention. So what happens when you start living with intention, with awareness of your frequency? You'll notice different people finding you. You'll notice new doors opening. You'll notice coincidences, turning into divine precision. Not because you got lucky, but because you became a magnet for what you deserve. When you live in alignment with your true vibration, the world does not run on chance. It runs on law, the law of resonance, the law of energy, the law of reflection. And you are the broadcasting tower, more powerful than you ever believed. Not someone out there, not a distant God, but you, every day, every hour, every vibrational choice you make. So then, what will you choose right now? Not tomorrow, not when things get better, but in this very moment, as your eyes read these words, what are you broadcasting? Are you vibrating with awareness, or still looping through old patterns? Because whether you realize it or not, every second you live is a choice, not between right and wrong, but between low and high frequency, between fear and trust, between unconsciousness and presence. And when you begin to choose consciously, that's when the miracle begins. You'll see. You don't need to force yourself to become someone. You don't need to earn your dreams through strain. You don't need to prove your worth to the world, because your very presence, your honest vibration, is enough to unlock the gates of synchronicity and open timelines you once believed only existed in dreams. The truth is, you don't have to wait to feel free. You can choose to live energetically free right now, even if the external hasn't caught up yet, because the universe does not respond to your circumstances. It responds to your internal state, and when that state shifts, reality has no choice but to follow. No exceptions, no delays, only precise alignment of the right frequency at the right time in the right direction. You are no longer the seeker, you are the becoming the flow, becoming the light, becoming the answer to the prayer you once thought you had to beg for. And no, you don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to figure it all out. You only need to begin moving in the frequency of your intuition. That is where every miracle begins. Not from logic, not from calculation, but from the harmony between the rhythm of your heart and the vibration of your soul. How will you know you're aligned? Listen closely. If your heart expands, you're in the right frequency. If your body softens, you're in the right frequency. If your surroundings begin to shift in strange yet perfect ways, then you are broadcasting on the right channel. You don't need to control the outcome. You only need to stay loyal to the frequency you choose every single day. A loving gaze, a breath of gratitude, a small action taken from inner guidance. These are not small things. They are the beginning waves of a universe in motion, because what you send today will return tomorrow as a powerful, living reality. And if you still doubt, if you still wonder whether any of this works, remember this: you don't have to believe it to make it true. You just have to live it, to make it real. You were never called to believe blindly. You were called to become the living proof of a new frequency, a human being anchored in inner freedom, one who doesn't react to life, but harmonizes with it, one who no longer asks, "What will I receive?" but broadcasts as if everything has already arrived. And then you'll find yourself standing in a place logic could never take you, because you were guided by something deeper than reason, the energy of who you are, when you are no longer limited, the energy of a soul who remembers who they are. And now, this is the final moment, not an ending, but a return to where you have always belonged, inside yourself, where there are no more questions, no more striving, only the radiant presence of a soul that has remembered who it is. You no longer try to become the light, because you've realized you are the light. You no longer seek validation, because you've found resonance, the original frequency where all questions dissolve into silence. And in that moment, you understand. This entire journey was never about learning something new. It was about laying down everything that was never truly you. Every limit, every doubt, every inherited belief, just dust covering your original signal. And now as you stand here, no more resistance, no more confusion, no more separation, only a pure current flowing between you and the universe, an unnamed union, a frequency that does not need to be broadcast to be felt. You are the transmission, but you no longer transmit from fear or craving. You transmit from pure being. From here you don't do, you become. Become peace, become love, become the resonant anchor for the highest timelines to converge. You no longer strain to manifest. You simply reside fully in the truth of who you are. And everything comes as a natural consequence, not because you attract it through effort, but because you've become the magnetic match for all that is meant for you. As David R. Hawkins once said, you don't have to fight the darkness, you simply raise the light. And you've done that, not through effort, but through remembrance. Now, you no longer ask, what am I broadcasting into the universe? Because you already know. You are broadcasting clarity, presence, the frequency of a soul that is no longer fragmented. You are broadcasting trust without condition, gratitude without reason, love without object. And because of that, the universe is responding to you as it has always longed to, with gentleness, with precision, with synchronicities so strange. They are no longer surprising because you no longer live by the laws of this world. You have recoded yourself to the law of vibration. You no longer ask life for answers. You are the answer, a living answer, a resonant transmission, a living, breathing reminder that we did not come here to learn how to live. We came here to remember how to shine. And when you remember, the entire universe shifts with you. No force, no striving, just aligned vibration, and you are aligned from the moment you returned to yourself.